Welcome to the Green Wisdom Health Podcast with Dr. Stephen and Janet Lewis, where you will learn about natural solutions to common ailments. And now, here are your hosts, Dr. Stephen and Janet Lewis.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Green Wisdom Health Show. I'm Janet Lewis.
And I'm Dr. Lewis.
And today we are going to help you learn a little bit about brain health and why it's so important to start at a young age. Most of you probably think, hey, I'll just wait till I get older and worry about that then. But actually, you need to start when you're young. And so the name of today's show is called Start When You're Young to Protect Your Brain. Isn't that original? Anyway, we're going to educate you a little bit about what you can do and some of the signs and symptoms of perhaps your brain is already deteriorating and things that cause that to happen. So, Dr. Lewis, I know you have some products you want to talk about, and I know you want to educate us a little bit about brain health because yours is so big that we all are just itching to learn from you. So just go right ahead and educate us.
I always feel put on the spot. You're like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? There's a lot of things that's important about brain health, and because I know I've got genetically some dementia in my future based on what my mother did, but my brother, Dr. James Lewis, and I, and then Janet later, gave my mother so many different supplements that her dementia / Alzheimer's, whatever it was, that was very evident in her mid-60s. It didn't really show up and kick her butt till about 88 to 92. Then after that, she was gone. But and you can't make any claims for supplements to prevent a disease, or cure a disease. But why in the world has America got to the point where we think that putting good nutrition in, the body won't use it and do good with it? And I use a lot of dumbed down analogies because that's just kind of who I am anyway. I tell people, well, last time I paid $100 to change the oil in my truck, and it's like it didn't drive different, it didn't get better gas mileage, but why would you pay $100, and sometimes it's $108, to change the oil? Because you want to get started before you have to buy a brand new engine. And I actually did that one time. I had a truck I hated. I waited till the red light come on, and then I would put on some cheap, re-refined Walmart oil. And when the engine blew, I wish to God I'd have done the preventative stuff. So I've got a lot to say about brain health. There's something about autopoiesis. You've got to understand the neuro, or the brain nervous system, is also intricately connected to the endocrine system, hormones, and the immune system. We'll maybe touch on inflammation. We'll touch on endocrine imbalance, maybe hypomethylation, which is like a B complex. I know Janet's going to talk about that, although we don't review notes. We go from different sets of notes just to see who can surprise the other one. There's mitochondrial dysfunction. Those are the people that says, well, I just don't have energy. Well, it takes time to clean it up because the mitochondria live in your cells, and it has to do with making energy. We'll talk about toxic environments. We'll talk about genetics, blood-brain barriers, second brain.
And we'll talk about tinnitus and hearing loss and ringing in the ears.
Well, Janet wants me to get hearing aids, and I do have some hearing loss. It's more of ADD, ADHD, actually. And she's given me that...
oh, no, I didn't say anything.
She's given me that grin. I won't tell you what kind, but it's like a possum eating green persimmons.
Maybe I did say something. You didn't hear me.
Anyway, because tinnitus can be a sign or a signal that there's brain dysfunction. And I know when my guts go down and get inflamed that my brain function does too. So, we'll talk about that, the mind-body connection, detoxification, different nutrition, vitamins, minerals, and proteins, which I hope I get around to all this. But before I get into that, I want to talk about, we did talk about the oils. I tell people that Janet and I use a lot of pecan oil just because it's a southern thing, and to some degree that's true. We use a certified Louisiana pecan oil. I'm going to name the name. They don't know that I'm doing this. It's called Kinloch, Kinloch, Kinloch pecan oil. You can order this stuff. It is like, oh my God, heavenly. But
you're talking about for cooking, right?
Yeah, or putting on your salads.
Okay.
Why do you use it? Because most people know about almond and somewhat they do peanuts. A lot of people do walnuts, and I eat a handful of walnuts, once a day. Almonds, for example, as far as the total antioxidants is around 1,265 per gram. Brazil nuts only 400, cashews 403, hazelnuts 2,700, macadamia. They go good in ice cream and cookies, but that's 481. Peanuts, $8.99, and I like peanuts. That's a southern thing too, although they're very pesticide laden. Pine nuts, not so much. Pistachios, 2,267. Walnuts, it comes in really, really high at 3,846 antioxidants. It's micromoles per gram. So 3,800. You know what pecans have? 5,095. So the Kenlock pecan oil, we love, 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 love. It has the highest smoke point of any oil. Let's see, something comes close.
And it's not high in saturated fat either.
No.
Right.
Although I think the saturated fat thing is an overblown piece of baloney, but that's my opinion. We all know about refined virgin olive oil. Well, its smoke points, if it's refined, is 410. Well, pecan oil is 470. Butter's 325. I'd cook with a lot of butter.
Real butter.
Yeah. Corn, peanut, and soybean is pretty high in the 400s, but you shouldn't ever consume those. Canola's 400, which never, that's nasty stuff. Grapeseed oil, which we do use, is 420. Coconut, 350. But pecan oil, smoke points 470. Kenlock pecan oil, I do not have any financial ties to this company. They don't know I'm talking about them, but their oil is like light and taste wonderful, and it helps make you healthy because that oil is a very important thing to help keep your brain healthy.
We actually found that oil when we were on a trip to Mississippi, and they dusted us with crop dusters. We went into the little...
That's happened twice in Mississippi and twice in Louisiana.
Yeah, the little rest area information center thing they had. And
in Tunica. What were we doing in Tunica?
We were lost, very lost. And they had that oil, and we thought, we'll give it a try, and bought that oil and walked outside and got dusted by a crop duster. So,
and I told her they were doing that, but she didn't hear me, so maybe she needs hearing aids.
But the oil turned out great, and we've been having it ever since because it does cook in high heat, and it's just really good.
It tastes really good, and now I'm in trouble for saying that. She didn't listen to me. But, 60% of the brain is called white matter because fat is white. The rest of the brain's gray matter, which is really the heads of the neutrons. Some diseases of the CNS, that's central nervous system, would include tumors, seizures, infections like meningitis, trauma, because trauma can actually really adversely affect your brain health. And then degenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, or just call it dementia. You've got to let your neurologist, make that diagnosis as to what it is.
Well, I just thought it's very interesting that there are some actual things that can happen to you when you're younger that you don't associate with your brain is deteriorating. And I know you came back from a seminar, and I asked Dr. Lewis because this stuff just rattles out of his head, and then he
once in a while it's good, but
and he
not
don't
always
know where he's got it or where he read it or whatever. But
I've got a good memory, but I don't have it categorized and organized.
And he was saying something about by the time you're a certain age, that your brain had already started shrinking.
Yeah, if you can't stand on one foot without falling, your cerebellum's beginning to shrink. And once it shrinks, you're just kind of out of luck.
Yeah, and it's like you can't get that back anymore, and that can even happen when you're younger. So it's not about waiting until you're older, right?
No, we're actually seeing dementia, Alzheimer's, CNS, central nervous system degeneration at a much, much younger age. And again, when you talk to a neurologist, they're going to tell you pretty much the same thing. Their experience is like mine, and I think you should always, do these brain things with the help of a neurologist. But we're seeing it younger because of something called Syndrome X, which is kind of like pre-diabetes or metabolic syndrome. And we're seeing more and more people with thyroid problems. People say, but it's my thyroid. It's like, yeah, maybe, but there's 7 other steps you're forgetting about or just omitting. Don't listen to one list and say, oh my God, I've got half the things on the list. It must be that, because it may be true, but there's usually many, many, many other pieces to the equation.
And I'm not pointing any fingers here. I'm just reading statistics so that you can understand how hearing loss affects brain health. Drum
roll, she's pointing at me.
No. There's actually 37.5 million Americans over the age of 18 who have trouble hearing.
So use your hearing protectors when you go out and shoot guns.
Right, and that's what Dr. Lewis has always told me. He says, well, that's because I shot guns, which loud noises really do interfere with that. But I had no idea that it actually helped shrink your brain if you couldn't hear well.
Well, they say we're dim-witted morons, people that shoot guns, which that's a lie, because look at me. I win them all the time. I keep waiting for my calls for the ones I win every time I get in a contest. I'm waiting on one in October and one in December.
The sad part is, though, that people that need hearing aids, fewer than 30% of individuals over 70 years of age who have hearing loss will actually wear them, because if they would wear them, it would also help protect their brain function. They did a study where scientists gathered 25,000 online participants who were older than 50 and split them into 2 groups. One group wore hearing aids and the other didn't. Both took cognitive tests every year for 2 years. And at the end of the study, the scientists found that people who routinely wore hearing aids had better scores on tests that analyzed working memory and attention span than the participants who did not. So
that means I'm getting hearing aids whether I like them or not. I know what I'm getting for Christmas, but it really does. There are loud noises that, certain restaurants that don't have good acoustics, and I'm like, oh, geez, I wish I had some earplugs. When we go to concerts, I wear earplugs, and you can still hear the music just fine, but it doesn't make your ears ring as bad. But again, part of my issue is you've got to get my attention first. I do have a little ADD, ADHD, because my mind goes in 40 different directions. I was called a mad scientist just the other day, and I said, thank you very much. And they said, well, it wasn't a compliment. I said, yeah, it was.
Well, the other part of that, and we get this question a lot, is what can you do for ringing in the ears or tinnitus?
Well, you see an audiologist and or neurologist, but there are things you can do naturally to give your body a chance to heal it on its own.
But actually, hearing aids can help that as well.
Okay, I know what I'm getting for Christmas.
I'm just saying, I just was kind of shocked by all of that. I thought, well, you don't associate that ringing in the ears or not being able to hear has anything to do with your brain. Or I didn't. You probably did, but I did not.
Yeah.
So
you're right, honey.
So it's very interesting. And also, we want to talk about some products that we have that help rebuild brain. We have several. Dr. Lewis is going to talk about the B complex that we have and why B vitamins are so important. If you want to do that, I'll save this last one.
Yeah, well, that goes into the hypomethylation, which means less methylation than what is normal. And those of you that have gotten on internet, read about 5-MTHFR, 5-methyltetrahydrofolate reductase, and some of the experts say that about 50% of the population has that. I have 2 of the worst genetic SNPs there are. And for the hypomethylation, I take methyl supreme. But, for those that don't know you have it, the B complex ultra is somewhere close to holy cow. Well, almost the holy grail. It's got thiamine, riboflavin, niacin. Niacin by itself is really, really good. So I think, Janet wants me to talk about that. But it's got B6. B6 is very important in liver function, which is for the methylation, or to be able to have the liver clean out and detoxify, which has a lot to do with digestion also and how you feel. And it's got the folate, but it's in the form of metformin, which is that 5-MTHF methyl tetrahydrofolate. Well, that's the good part. So that if you have that genetic problem, it doesn't matter if you know you do or don't, just throw it in there. Your body will work with it. And then it's got the B12. There's so many people say, but I'm taking a B12, and it's like, oh, God, you did not hear me. Most supplements don't work. They're like your crazy ex. And I said, well, I'm taking B12, and it's a cyanocobalamin. If it doesn't say methylcobalamin, you need to throw it in the trash. Biotin, pantothenic acid. Pantothenic acid's the one that's going to, if the woman takes it, the husband gets nicer because it rebuilds adrenal glands, helps deal with stress. Janet's shaking her head, yes.
I just like pantothenic acid. It's awesome.
Yeah, it makes me easier to love, I think. Then it's got choline, which is good. You know, the phosphatidylcholine is good for rebuilding the brain, although we have one that's way the heck faster than that. It's got inositol and para-aminobenzoic acid. The B complex ultras are pretty... Well, it's high class and it's very absorbable, but it's also pretty inexpensive. So that's a methylation. And some people just take the slow-release niacin, and I know some people say, but niacin makes me flush. Yeah, some of them do.
Not that one. I personally take this one.
Yeah, and this is slow-released, and niacin has a tendency to give you a better ratio of cholesterol, lower cholesterol and triglycerides, so that's not a bad thing. And it can help with hearing loss and tinnitus.
Mm-hmm. I agree. We've put people on it before, and it has done that.
Yeah, Meniere's disease. Boy, that's a tough one.
And then our most favorite brain rebuilding formula that we have now, and we've gotten really great feedback on it, and we take it ourselves. My dad takes it. It's called GPC. Stands for Dr. Lewis.
Stands for Dr. Lewis.
Stands for Dr. Lewis.
Glycerylphosphocholine.
Yeah. Long words. It's a highly effective form of choline for the brain and nerve health and muscle function. It actually helps improve your memory, your mental focus, and reaction time in elderly and young individuals.
Makes your spouse look prettier.
I'm telling you what, you can take I don't know about the prettier part, but you can take that stuff and within 30 minutes it's like your mind is clicking.
Yeah, that's the lady who said I've had migraines for years and years and years, and within, I forget, 30 minutes, 3 hours, something like that. She said the pressure on my head's gone. Is it a fluke? I said, yeah, I didn't know it's going to be that quick, but it could be. Results kind of follow with your faith and expectations too. That helps.
And interestingly enough, it may compensate for ACH production, acetylcholine decline due to aging, estrogen deficiency.
Neurotransmitter on that one.
Yeah, menopause, possibly also with oral contraceptive use. So, I think for me, because I had a hysterectomy, and all the women I've talked to, it's like it threw them into this stage of their brain didn't work like it used to. The thoughts were not as fast. If you look at your color part of your eyes, we have studied the iris of the eye also and different things where it goes to in the body. And at the very top of the color part of your eye, there is an area that if it starts looking clear, what is it, about 12 o'clock, I guess, on the eye?
Cloudy, hazy.
Yeah, you'll start seeing it become fuzzy looking and not clear. It's not the pretty color of the rest of your eye. That's actually goes to brain health. And I can tell you back in my probably late 30s, early 40s, mine looked pretty bad going to my brain, and I was like, geez, I'm young and I don't look so great here. GPC, since we've been on it, my eyes actually look better. So you are getting back brain health with that.
The GPC is really the big dog. Oh my God. I mean, Janet's daddy's 85 going on 60 and a young, healthy, vibrant 60, maybe younger than that.
He remembers everything. It also increases your production of dopamine.
Hey, the feel good.
Serotonin and GABA.
Oh, serotonin's kind of the peace of God. Dopamine, if you're lacking dopamine, you're usually addicted to something.
And it also
could be food.
It improves your mitochondrial function during ischemia, oxidative stress.
It just means more energy.
More energy, okay. It actually counteracts age-dependent reduction in number of brain cells. And
you need to do that quickly. Sorry to interrupt, babe. When the mitochondria are gone, they're gone. Don't wait until they crap out and crater, because they don't really repair themselves real well, and the toxins in the environment are already poisoning them. So get started now. Another reason. Sorry, I had to say that about mitochondria.
Well, and I just want to tell everybody kind of what this does, because it's such a long word, and then we've shortened it to GPC, and people are like, I don't even know what this is. So I'm just going to tell you, it does a lot of stuff. It actually boosts growth hormone production in the young and elderly.
Growth hormone means staying young longer.
It increases fat oxidation.
Lose weight faster.
muscle strength,
Ooh.
and reaction time, potentially improving balance, especially in the elderly. It improves brain recovery from stroke, cranial injury, and anesthesia pre- and post-surgery. Hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen people, they'll have surgery and then they have a bad reaction to the anesthesia. Some of them never come out of it, but we've seen people that take the holy heck out of GPC like 2 or 3 times the regular dosage, and lo and behold, here comes their cognitive function back.
It repairs blood-brain barrier tissue damaged by hypertension. It improves cognition and social behavior in Alzheimer's disease, or vascular age-related dementia and Parkinson's. Reduces Alzheimer-like brain volume shrinkage. This is something. May be beneficial for conditions requiring myelin repair, like the Duchenne muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, so I mean, geez, there's just, it does so much. And the thing about it is we tried it with just 1 dropper full. It's a liquid. It tastes like you're having a piece of candy. It's real sweet. And 1 dropper full never really cut it for any of us. It might on a kid. But on adults, when you did 2 dropperfuls at once, it was like, oh, my word. And my dad started with 1 dropper, and he was like, this stuff doesn't work. And I said, lo
and behold, we read the instructions. It's supposed to be 2.
Yeah, because I said, just start with 1.
It's not just men that don't read instructions.
Yeah, and so he went to 2, and a couple of days later he called. He says, oh, my word. He said, I can really tell a difference. He said, I'm remembering everything, and it really does. So we've put everybody on it. It's great stuff. You can't go wrong with it. So that's our favorite brain thing is GPC. So we also have some questions that we need to get to. We have some about water, actually, a couple of them about water. Rich wanted to know about reverse osmosis water filtration systems for drinking water. Is it worth the money?
Yes. I really think it is. And, there's other people that'll spend $4 or $5 on a machine. It's like, yeah. So on one podcast, we talked about Brandy's experiment. And Brandy's a little bit shy, but she's a superwoman in there taking good care of y'all. She went out and bought, 9, 10, 11 different alkaline waters, all different brands, and we did the pH test strips. Every one of them, even if it said alkaline, tested very, very acidic. And then we added some of our minerals, and lo and behold, it became alkaline. So the easy way to get alkaline water is throw in good minerals, not the calcium carbonate. You've got to have a calcium citrate, or one of the ones that's chelated to the amino acids, so that it will make your water alkaline. But yeah, we like reverse osmosis in a big, big way.
I like it because it does the work for you. We also have a Berkey water filter, which
have a couple.
Yeah, we have a couple of them, which we just have on hand for times get tough, or even if they don't.
Thank you, Jack Spirko, for that.
I just love that. But we keep that on hand just in case we do need it down the road, but we're using it right now because we just recently moved and I don't have my reverse osmosis hooked up yet. It works great also. It does take up a lot of counter space, and you do find yourself making water all the time, where the reverse osmosis will do it for you. But it's been a good system as well. The water tastes good out of that too.
And you don't know what's in your water just because, and this is not talking about water, but there's this research that I read out of Journal of Neurology said welders exposed to aluminum and manganese have more neurodegenerative diseases. That's from Journal of Neurology and British Medical Journal. So whether you're getting aluminum, lead, manganese, whatever, those are not good metals, and the Berkey filter will take that out. The reverse osmosis will take that out. It's really, really a cool thing to do. It's I think, a relatively inexpensive way to protect your health.
Yeah, the Berkey will even pick up red food coloring, which is something. So I was like, wow, okay.
It'll filter a beer and make it into water. It'll ruin a beer.
Well, I didn't know that. He's probably tried it while I wasn't looking. Thank you, Rich, for that question. Martin has a little bit different spin on the water. He wants to know about fasting with water. After a few months of oppressive work schedule and poor food prepping, I've seen my blood pressure and weight climbing up. I'm getting ready to restrict my work hours and so I can go back to full-time meal prep on an extreme carb limited diet and want to transition into it with a water fast. I know they can be risky, but I have none of the conditions exacerbated by doing so. While there are no studies for short-term water fast, I'm thinking of going 5 days. Other than hydrating more than normal and adding electrolytes, what other things can I do to make the process easier?
I've done 5 days several times, did 8 days a time or two, and what I do is I add vitamin C. I think our multi-element buffered C would be a good one. I add fiber, and that's really about it. You want to, sometimes I'll take bentonite, to pick up some of the toxins, and then you want to do either coffee enemas or colonics, and you will be absolutely horrified at the stuff that comes out of your body if you do that, because your body's not using its energy to detoxify or to really digest your food. It's using its energy to detoxify. Now, again, you need to do that under the watchful eye of your doctor, not me, because I'm not right there. But I've done them several times and got great, grand, and glorious results from it.
Seems like you would need minerals.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea also. But, that's right, I did do minerals.
There you go. See, my brain just kicks right in because I take
because of my hearing loss and tinnitus. I forgot that one. Detoxification, though, is a good thing. You can do it many ways. And, if you're on my program, I have you detoxifying whether you know it or not.
Yeah, we just like for you to do it slowly so that it doesn't create havoc with your system. Because a lot of times people think they need to detoxify and they're actually hurting themselves more. So we kind of do a cross between building and detoxing, but that's based on the low-cost lab work, correct?
Yeah, we do it. We do it safely, and I've told people, be careful what you read on the internet, because we saw one lady kill her husband detoxifying. I said, you don't need to detoxify him. You need to build him. He's a weak old man. We need to build him up. She said, no, I read this on the internet, and she killed him, and he was the sweetest guy on the face of the earth, but she got it off the internet, so just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. We talk about brain health, and you're talking about detoxing. If you are not familiar with what we do, we run low-cost lab work across the United States, usually very close to you. Throughout all the states except Texas, we use Quest Diagnostics, and in Texas we use LabCorp. Because Dr. Lewis is licensed here and in Oklahoma. So basically, when you're talking about brain health, there can be some underlying factors as well that we see on lab that people think is their brain, and there may be some other things that's causing them to have fuzzy thinking, correct, on the lab? Yeah,
you want to check hormones, and you want to check this and check that, and I explain that when I go through the consultation. I just talked to a wonderful man up close to Chicago, Eddie. He said his wife got her lab drawn this morning. He's going to do his probably tomorrow. We have so many people that are just buying supplements from us because they know for a fact or through their discerning spirit that we're doing the best supplements that you can possibly get, and also we try to get the lowest price also. And then we have people like Kara that send us emails that just are just absolutely very encouraging. We're so blooming blessed. And then people with a positive attitude. I talked to Althea down in Florida yesterday, and she's my age, which you're still young and good looking, but she said, oh, this is better, this is better, this is better, this is better. And it's like, Lord, you've only been on it 3 or 4 weeks. Well, she said, that's what I wanted, so I'm looking for and expecting it. Folks, if you look for what's wrong, you find it. If you look for what's right, you find that. Well, on the lab, when you're looking for things that might cause brain issues or having trouble remembering things, you're talking about hormones. Is that like thyroid? Yeah, we do 5 parts of the thyroid. I always think that men or women should do the appropriate. On women, it's estradiol, progesterone, testosterone, and DHEA. DHEA is a huge, huge building hormone. I'm a big fan of it. I take it every day. Liver enzymes being elevated will cause you to have fuzzy thinking. Yeah, with a lot of anger to go with it usually. Yeah, we're getting ready to start carrying glutathione as well for some of that. We're in the process of getting that made right now. That actually helps with
alcoholic and non-alcoholic fatty liver. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well.
And we're getting a new liver detox that actually is going to be stronger in many of the good substances and cost less. We also check, we always do the best. We're not going to compromise on quality, but we always, shop for price also.
Yeah, and I know you didn't mention fish oil for brain health. I know that's a huge one. Because of all this COVID stuff, the fish oil has been coming and going because of raw material issues. We're getting ready to carry another choice called Omega Balance, because the top of the line, the Omega Supreme, is having a hard time keeping in stock. So we're carrying one that you have to take one extra pill of, but you don't have to do the liquids because some people don't like the liquid. So that will be here as well. So we've got some other options, but you always need to make sure you're taking a really good fish oil for brain health, and it needs to be high in EPA and DHA because that helps rebuild it. But Dr. Lewis, we have come to the end of our show again. I cannot believe that it's already flown past, and so I'd like for you to leave the audience with some closing inspirational words.
I don't know how inspirational they are. I hope they are, and we hope that we motivate you to share this with other people. Some people like it because they say, well, you're just down home and real. It's like, I don't know how to be unreal. The thing about it is we've been blessed with so many people like Eddie up around Chicago that's just consistently doing our stuff, and I want to tell you, failing is not when you fall down. Failing is when you stay down. The other thing, I want you to listen to this one. No man is ever rich enough to buy back his past, which can mean your poor health that you created. It's better to invest in your health. And especially during these crazy times in this world, I tell people, stay away from negative people. They have a problem for every solution. And just because God puts them in your life doesn't mean that you need to try to save somebody that's not savable. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just remove yourself from that relationship. It's really, oh man, this is going to be tacky. Please forgive me for this one because I've dealt with this several times. But people say, but, well, if you want to learn to eat correctly, go see Tara at Wildly Primal. She's awesome because it's hard to lose weight when you have an overactive knife and fork. And please forgive me for that because Janet and I eat so little. And usually it's just an avocado and an apple with almond butter for supper. We don't eat much. And I maintain a pretty good weight, and so does Janet. She's thin, cute little thing. But just know that you're aware, know that you're responsible, know that you can have victory because it really, really is worth it because you're not here for you. You're here for your spouse. You're here for your kids, your grandkids, your coworkers. Your life really, really matters. Please remember that.
And if you've not taken the time to invest in yourself, like Dr. Lewis said, go to our website, greenwisdomhealth.com, fill out the health survey. Get started now because this is all you have is today. And join his Shooting Straight with Dr. Lewis and ask us some more questions. We love your questions, and we love reading them on the air and answering them. We hope you guys have a blessed week. We'll be here next time on the Green Wisdom Health Show.
Once again, our show has come to an end, but your hope in your health is only beginning. If you or a loved one are in need of a different outcome and are waiting for a brighter future, take the first step and go to our website and fill out the health survey. Please don't keep us a secret. If you know someone that could benefit from this podcast, please share this show with your friends and family. You are only one step away from a life worth living.